much. Does that much yardage. Not only having to go through the spot, but then replay it. That much, how much difference it makes. Just to climb on that bus and have a 4-hour bus ride, just to see the looks on these kids' faces in there. I mean, that much. It comes down to that. And as happy as I am for us, and believe me, I am, because we've waited a long time. I told Sean Kugler after the game, he's got a lot more games in him, and I've been standing right where he is. But, I mean, heck of a game. We turned it over one time. We missed a chip shot field goal. I thought it was going to come down to that in the end. Our offense was back to what our offense was last year, where we lined up and ran it. But, great football game, no question about that. And, just to be one-on-one, win a game on the road, I think we've had some firsts in 2 years. Probably not all of them positive, but to win for the first time in Texas, what's this, our 16th game?
Yes, sir.
We lost 15 straight in the state of Texas.
1997 last week.
1997. There's been some firsts in 2 years. Yeah. That's all we talked about at halftime, right? That's all we talked about. We said, listen, there's no more, are we well drilled, aren't we well drilled? What's our scheme on offense? What's our scheme on defense? What kind of adjustments do we have to make? What we got to do is go win a game. Somehow we have to go win a game. I didn't want to talk about one play in the first half. I didn't want to talk about one adjustment. I just said, how are we going to find a way to sing that song after this game? I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be. But for us to ever move forward, we are right here where we were last week at this time. We're no different than we were in Fort Collins. And we could go back 6 or 7 games. We're not, this is what we are. And at some point, you got to get over the hump and you got to win one of those games. I mean, I'm realistic to where we were, but that was the whole point of the halftime conversation is how do you go win this game? On a night like this, it's a beautiful night. There's a great crowd. But you know what there was last week, too? We were at home and we were up 13-7, and it was a great crowd. And it made it tougher when the third play of the first half, the kid takes a toss sweep and goes 60 yards or whatever it was for a touchdown. But fortunately our offense was able to move the ball like we've been accustomed to our offense being able to move the ball. But, yeah, it's trying to win a game like this. I mean, we are, there's not much margin for error, and that's what we have to do, find a way.
Coach, overcoming that one touchdown deficit that you had, you're down 7 points. Talk about how you came back.
Yeah, I knew we could move the ball. I thought we could score. We probably, I thought we'd win it right there at the end of regulation. We'd been waiting all night to set up that wheel route to Jarrell Presley. And then first of all, we wasted a timeout. The first play of that series, we wasted a timeout, which was critical. We hit the wheel route. We got just a little bit discombobulated, and then we got sacked. So we kind of limped into overtime because we thought we could win it on the last series. But, when you're able to run the ball and you're able to put, kid ran for 292 yards tonight, I think, Casey Carrier. And then you put Crusoe in there, who packs a punch. DeMarcus, Jarrell Presley made a heck of a play when he caught the batted pass, and he made a good run. You guys know what we are. You've watched us enough. We've got to throw it a little bit more. It shouldn't be quite as hard to throw it as we make it, and it's good to be 1-1. I know that.
Almost 300 yards.
Yeah. You knew early on, these guys that have watched us every week since I've been here, you kind of get a feel early in games if we're going to be able to run that dive up in there. Tonight was a night we could run the dive up in it. And, when they get to a point where it really doesn't matter whether they plug linebackers or blitz, and you can still run it up in there, that's because your offensive line's playing pretty good. Dylan Farrell went out in the first half with a knee injury, didn't come back in. Lamar Bratton played the whole second half of the game at center. It takes a bunch of guys to run for 292 yards, but it's kind of how we looked last year in some games, to be honest.
Defense gave up yards and points, but they got the 3 big stops, including the big one. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you see what we are. There were some hits. I mean, you see the good and bad. We missed some tackles, big time missed some tackles. Got mauled a little bit a couple times out in space. But yet there were some big hits. There were more kind of energy plays, I think we're building something on defense. You know, we gave up 399 yards. Our offense kept the ball away from them. You knew if we could get a couple stops, we could win it. They probably felt the same thing. You know, I look back to last week. Probably if the two teams played 10 times, it'd be 5-5. If I looked at tonight, if we probably played this team 10 times, it'd be 5-5. You know, the key for us is to keep developing players and keep developing as a team. But, you know, I feel like we're a little bit better on defense. You know, UTSA had 510 yards, I think, on Oklahoma State today. You know, do we know our limitations? Yeah. But I think we put it this way. We made one more stop than they made. Somehow we made a stop on 4th and short. And that's good enough for me right now, getting on that highway.
Talk about the catch by Reese White. I thought that was a huge catch.
It was big. You know, we were in an unbalanced formation where we lined Reese White up really at offensive tackle. And they had a bust. You know, we set it up. It's a play we ran against Hawaii last year that played a lot of man-to-man coverage. It was a huge play. First of all, it was great design. You know, I give our offensive staff credit for that. It's something we wanted. We had a couple other things we didn't use tonight that we felt we could do against man-to-man coverage. But I think we open up against this team next year. Let's just enjoy this one, man. It's been a long time. These kids have they've done everything we've asked. You know, so let's enjoy this one. All right, guys. Appreciate it, man.